For those of you who don't know, I'm George the Antique Nomad, and I say that because we do have a bunch of new people who have joined the various channels, so welcome to all of you. And I also want to talk a little bit about what we'll do tonight. I'm going to give you an update about my health treatments. For those of you who don't know, I am going through lymphoma treatments right now, so we'll talk about that a little bit. Today was a bit of a day. Those of you who follow the shorts may have seen a posting that we did earlier. I wasn't sure I was going to be able to be here tonight, but things worked out. We'll talk about that. We'll talk a little bit about what we've been up to, how we're doing things in this period of time where I can't do shows and big events. We're still managing to have some fun. And we've got some show and tell to do, a little bit of viewer mail. We'll take some questions and answers, and then we're going to have a live sale and giveaways. So plenty to look forward to here. Timmy's here. Hello. It's nice to see you, and Jan and Carolyn and Hubcap Dylan. I love that name. Critter Girl's with us. Thank you. It's great to see you again. And I would say that, well, I guess let's, I do really, yeah, I love this shirt on me too, actually. It's the first time I've worn it. And you know, I had a comment. We'll get into the health update here first and get that out of the way. I had a comment recently from somebody who said, well, you sure don't look very sick. And I thought, well, that's flattering. I'm not sure they meant it that way, but I took that as a nice thing. But they, you know, it depends. If you saw my video or my short earlier today, well, today was a little bit of a rough one because the symptom that kicked all of this off more than anything was that I was having trouble breathing. And it turned out that because the lymph nodes weren't working right because of this cancer protein, that I was accumulating fluid and have been in the chest cavity. And so I've been going once a week and having one side of it drained and then the other side and then the other side and the other side. This has been going on since February. So I went in today. The good news is that they've been taking really like 2 liters at a time out. So basically a liter a week was filling up on each side of my chest, which is a lot. I could see why I couldn't breathe. Well, last week they did the right side and they only got 900 milliliters, which was a big improvement. And we did the left side today and it was only 800. Well, the thing is because there wasn't a lot of fluid in there, the lungs and the diaphragm meet. And so when they went to put the catheter in, because there wasn't fluid separating them, they actually punctured the lung just a little bit. And so, yes, it's not as complimentary as it sounds. Thank you, Jason. That is true. So we had a moment because they said, oh, we're getting air in with the fluid, and that meant that the air was coming out of my lungs and filling the cavity, which is just as bad as if the fluid was filling the cavity. So they had to do an x-ray. It seemed fairly small. They had me sit there for an hour. We did another x-ray, but it didn't just close up and immediately heal itself. And they were concerned that, you know, something might happen. And so I had to sit there for another couple of hours, and then they did another x-ray to make sure it hadn't expanded, and it hasn't. So the long and short of that, and thank you, Lisa, I appreciate that. Prayers and thoughts and warm wishes have really, really, really helped me a ton, more than I can ever express. So really appreciate all that. But anyway, the long and short of it is that it seems very minor. I just am basically on restriction for a while for the next, well, really up until my next treatments. I'm between treatment 6 and 7. And so before treatment 7 next week, I really can't pick up anything heavy, no big lifting, no big carrying. And, you know, that's okay. I've been doing some of that lately. And I've had really good fortune with being able to buy some out of some private sales and things. I did a big video on that recently. And so, I got my fill of that. But, some people have also been saying, well, gee, it seems like you're doing too much. My doctor was very clear. They really want you. The theory used to be just lay there for 6 months and don't do anything. And that's honestly what I thought I was going to be doing. The theory now is that it is better for you to do what you can do. Maybe you get tired early. Maybe you have to take a day off. All of those things have happened. Maybe you spell it out a little bit more and you don't drive yourself so much. But they want you to maintain some level of normal activity because it's not good for the rest of your body to sit around and be a couch potato. So I have been trying to do a little bit of both, and with reasonably success. I like what Critter Girl says is looking good when you feel like crap is a mixed bag. I usually say, oh, I'm faking it well. And I would say for me, it's a combination of, smile and keep going, but also I have been fortunate. I am making good progress. The symptoms are abating. The labs are getting closer to normal. When I started, the bad protein and the other marker for the cancer were 20 times normal. After the first two treatments, they were 10 times. After these last two treatments, they're now down to 5 times normal. So we're making good progress. And blessings to my caregiver as well. Yes, I try to thank her every day. She's just been wonderful. Everybody has. And yes, if I'm vertical, it's a good day. Exactly. So, but it is basically good news. I definitely, the other thing is that, and I've had other people tell me, I was in pretty good health otherwise when I started, and then by the fifth or sixth treatment, or meaning they come in pairs, so the 10th and 12th treatments, then it got a little bit rough and I was pretty worn out. And that may happen. So I'm trying to anticipate, and that's part of the reason I've been buying like crazy. And I've had really wonderful opportunities. People have been so generous with me. I really thought I was going to just be kind of dead in the water. I can't go to big estate sales. I can't go to shows. Where am I going to get merchandise? People have been so great. I know that you probably saw that I did the big video with the big haul from Olympia. I got to go back and buy more stuff, so there will be a second haul video. It was about half of what I bought at the first one, but more really interesting things. And I finally made it through the entire house and outbuilding and garden. I mean, there's just so much stuff. And so, more fun things. And the car's pretty full. And I feel like, well, I have mostly what I need to get through the next couple of months if that's all I get to do. I'm hoping I get to do more. I'm anticipating that I will. But I feel like Providence has shown on me and I have what I need to get through. So that's really great. And I'm telling you, our love is working. Your caregiver is so appreciated. Well, all of you too. Believe me, I appreciate everybody. Everybody's just been so fantastic. And I will try to give it back in kind every time I have a chance for the rest of my life because I see what the power of this is. And yes, I will listen to the doctors and do what my body's telling me to do. The one thing with this fluid situation is it's great that it's going down, even though we had our issue today and it was 5 hours in the clinic. The good news is that the fluid is starting to really decrease because they said if it isn't gone after the next cycle of treatments, that I will have to go to the University of Washington and have a procedure to go in and shut the ducts off that are causing the fluid to go in there. And I'm really rooting for not having another procedure. And it looks like it's going the right direction. So, the flip side of today with the problem is it happened because there isn't a whole bunch of fluid in there now. So, yes, I'm going at my own pace, and The other thing that they did do is they gave me a bone marrow booster shot after the last treatments because they said at this point, and my doctor, she's wonderful. My old doctor retired. I have a new doctor. That was expected. My new doctor is great because she's very upbeat and very happy, but she's also very straightforward. And I said, well, why do I need to have a bone marrow shot? And she said, so you don't end up in the hospital. And I said, oh, well, that's a good reason. Um, Turns out it's to stimulate your white blood cells because the treatments do decrease the white blood cells. That's where your immune system becomes compromised. So I'm having to be more careful. I'm wearing a bigger, better mask. I'm curtailing activity more. I'm just going to do what I'm supposed to do. The great thing is that we have the wonderful medium of the internet where we can all connect. And so I still get to be with you, even if I can't be there in person. Well, that's the wonder of the new age, isn't it? So, um, let's see. A bigger, better mask. Well, basically, I've been using just whatever they have in the box at the counter at the clinics. They have masks and you can take one and put it on and it's fine, but it's not an N95. And if you remember from COVID, they wanted us to all use N95s because they're the hospital grade. And because of COVID, everybody has a big stack left over. So I've had 5 people say, here, take some, take some, take some. So I have a lifetime supply now. And so I have been using those instead. And thank you. I do feel the love, and I am glad to give these updates. I am going to keep doing this every month until the treatments are done. The anticipation, if things keep going in the direction they are, is that October will be my last round, and that I will then have a month of follow-ups and labs to make sure that things are down. The one thing the doctor did besides changing the formula so that I don't have the terrible insomnia that I had after the first 2 times is she reduced the amount of chemo because she said, and again, she's very straightforward. She said, look, we can send this into remission. We can't cure it, quote unquote. We can't make it go away and say for certain that it will never come back. You might have 7 years, you might have 25 or 30 years. It may never come back in your lifetime, but we can't kill it. So there's no reason to overdo the chemo with you because your body's responding well. And I have a family history. We tend to respond to medicine really very strongly. And that's really great in terms of curative medicine. It's also the reason that there are problems with drug and alcohol abuse in my family. And fortunately, I have been taught to avoid those things because we definitely we're lightweights. I don't know how else to put it. So, can we have a party to celebrate in October? I think so. We'll just keep doing these sales and giveaways and we'll do it. I hope the sale and giveaways are before my 6 p.m. Dinner time. Well, we'll do our best. We're going to move on here because I think we've got the health thing down. And so what have we been up to? Well, of course, we showed the video with the big buy from Olympia with all the cool stuff. And it's just so fun to see an old school antique dealer's house with all the things that when I first got in the business were the things you saw in antique stores. And now you just don't really find collections like that in one place very often. So that was just really amazing. Like I said, there will be a part 2 coming soon. Several people did inquire about items, and you might notice I have new bookshelves behind me, and some of the items are on there. I haven't had a chance to process all of the information for people looking for those things, but I promise you that I will get to that this week. We also are, and yes, absolutely, here we go. I am down for it too. This weekend, when I was with a recent video I did with Stephanie from Thrifting Adventures, and we went to garage sales all over Longview and Kelso, Washington. And the first one that I showed was the community sale in Kelso, and the place that we went to where she got the makeup and I got the valuable set of cards, the woman said, would you like to come back? I have some other things of my mother's. And so I did do that this weekend because, again, private buys are safe for me. She didn't have a lot of stuff, just maybe half a dozen or 7 items, but I'm going to show you what came because it's probably not going to come into it's probably not going to come into a video or anything. But she had some cute things. Her family lived in France. They were in the Foreign Service. Now, this is not French. This is actually German, but they got this in Europe because you see these in Europe as well as the United States. And this is a lovely little half doll from about 1920. And of course, the holes on the bottom were so that you could sew them into pin cushions. You could attach brushes to them. I've seen them used in any number of ways. And that's a nice larger one. So that was cute. Another thing, and this ties in with something else I'll show you in a little bit, this bell, which, come on, there we go. It has a nice ring, and it is all brass, and it is Brussels, and of course it is the Peace Boy, as they call it in Brussels, which is a bit crude, but there is a story there about how there was a fire, and the little boy peed on the fire and put it out and saved the city. Seems a little far-fetched, but there is an actual life-size statue of that in Brussels, from what I understand. So let's see here. And yes, I'm sorry, Marie, I did come down briefly, and I also was meeting some other people and had things to do in Centralia. I was dropping some merchandise off for someone, so it was kind of a whirlwind trip. She had a lot of really nice jewelry, a lot of really fine jewelry, appraised by a dealer and priced correctly. I mean, she had beautiful 14-karat stuff, and I couldn't go for that. But I did buy this, and she sold it to me very inexpensively because you do notice it is missing a few stones. But this is Czech. It's going to be from just before the Second World War. And I think that my stone setter here, Rhinestone Rosies in Seattle, will be able to repair this. You can figure that these little ones will cost about $2 or $3 a piece, and it's missing maybe 6 or 8. But it's just a really fun color, and it lays really well, and I think it'll be really nice and worth restoring. So that was the only piece of jewelry. Like I said, I just got a few things. I thought this was awfully cute. This was from their time in Europe, which was the 1950s and 60s. This is Portuguese. And it's got the 2 boys with the boat, and the boat is a shape that is traditional to that area. I just liked it. It's hand-painted inside a transfer, and it's a company called Alleluia, spelled in the Portuguese fashion. Not a company I was aware of, really. Via Allegra is the porcelain company that's the best known from there. But I just thought it was really, it had a certain whimsy to it, and I like the color, and I am finding that ashtrays are selling. They're selling for any number of purposes. I mean, this one, because of the way it's shaped, could even be a pen stand. So I thought that was neat too. And oh, I see a few more familiar names in the chat. Thank you, everybody, for being here. This was obviously not from their European time, but this is really cool. This is the Burlington Escorted Tours. And these are the tours that you could take if you were riding the Burlington, the Great Northern, or Northern Pacific Railway about 1940. And it's a great deco graphic. Oh, hello, Amy. Nice to see you. And they are talking about Yellowstone National Park. And so you could take the train there, and then they would take you on guided tours. And they've got all these great pictures and graphics. It's a very nice 1930s piece. And I've got a lot of railroad collectors because my antique mall space in Centralia is, you look out the window and you're looking at the 1912 depot, which is where Amtrak stops. And a lot of rail fans come down for the day and see the antiques and go home. So I take all my train stuff there, and it does very well. So this was a fun thing to find. And then the other 2 things were pretty fancy, and these were also from their European time. Now, this was later, but this is a Waterford crystal piece, the angel playing the horn. And I just thought it was cute. And I am selling Waterford. Waterford is one form of crystal that still does pretty well. And to be honest with you, I'm seeing people being interested in crystal, partly because a lot of people have so much colored glass that they're just looking for something to put between it that can catch the light of other things. And these sell for about $35 or $40. And it does have the seahorse on the wing there. And then the last piece, I've saved the best for last. Their parents got this in San Marino around 1960, and this is Capo Diamante. And it is big. It's not particularly heavy, which is good because I'm on weight restriction right now for lifting things, but it is a really fine urn with all the pierce work. And I paid fairly for these pieces. I paid $75 for this. It's worth about $165 roughly, and it does have the mark there and actually the San Marino mark as well. And so I thought this was great. It's in such good condition. And the better pieces of as Capo Diamante became more and more something that you saw in stores in the United States, honestly, the quality got worse and worse. So I always look for the detail in the faces. Is the painting good? Is it where it should be? You know, the painting on the dress isn't slopped into the ground or the field. But this is a nice piece. So, and a very fancy piece. And so for those who really like fancy looking antiques, which I'm noticing a lot of younger collectors, we went through a generation where mid-century modernists really, they just weren't looking at anything like this. There's a younger generation who grew up with nothing but IKEA, and they are looking at things like this and saying, you know, everything I have is really plain. I would like to put something really fancy in the room as an eye catcher. And so we're starting to see things like that selling in the market again. So how much would I sell that for? I will probably price it between 150 and 175 would be my guess. I figured I paid 75 figuring that my minimum price on it would be double that. I usually don't do you know, I want to pay people fairly for their stuff, but when you think of the holding costs, you know, fortunately we get good deals in thrift stores and other places, and sometimes we come on some real bargains, and I've had luck with that lately. But when I'm buying from a private client and they have nice things, they know they're nice, I know they're nice, you know, I'm honest with them. I say, I've got to be able to double my money because of the holding costs. You're paying mall rent, or you're paying eBay or Etsy or wherever you're selling a percentage. So you've got to take all of that into account because, you know, say I sell that for 150 on eBay and eBay takes, let's say 15%. Well, then I'm getting 130 or 125. If I'm selling in a mall and they take 10% or 15% or a credit card fee, it all starts to add up. And then if you're shipping through if you're selling it privately and they pay on PayPal. So everything, there's expenses, and you know, when you take it into account, and also there's a holding time. You know, these things are wonderful. We love them, but you know, it might be 6 months before that sells. So you have to take that into account when you're buying for resale in a way that's different than when you're a collector. If I'm collecting that, I'm going to walk in, pay $150, say, great, this is a fair price. I can see it. It's beautiful. It's mine. So it's interesting. Yes, yes, retired for over 20 years now. And this is so interesting because, yes, China glassware silver. And it has been true for about the last 20 years that young people don't want China glassware or silver. Now we're starting to see that change a little bit. I see young people buying sets of china because they are so rock bottom price. And I see them parting out the serving pieces and selling them online and then donating back the plates and the things. And they're selling. They're not selling for what they did 30 years ago, but they are selling at some price if it's a better pattern. So it's really more about knowing the quality and knowing what's desirable. But there is a customer. I'm seeing stores where there's a whole wall of silver plate, and they weren't buying it because my generation didn't want to polish anything. The younger generation is like, we like the tarnish, and we're hanging it on the wall as art. We're doing a display on a counter. We're not buying it because we're using it and having fancy tea parties. We're buying it because we think it's interesting as objects and decoration. So there's some rebound in some of those markets. Capo Diamante is definitely Italian, yeah. Let's see here. Um, oh yes, and we are seeing younger customers, especially in more urban places and vendor malls, places where they think that they might get a better deal because younger people don't have big money necessarily, but they are interested in things. Lander Street Vintage in Seattle, it's amazing how many of the people are under 40, which was never a target market in the whole time I've been doing this. And now all of a sudden, we see 40-year-olds with their 65 and 70-year-old parents, and they're all having a good time and they're all into it. So it's fun to see. Um, there is truth to the fact that we don't necessarily need new dishes and silverware coming in from overseas. We do have plenty here if people care to use it. So, and this is the other thing. Yes, I tell people all the time, if you have a set of china and your children don't want it and you would like to see it stay in the family, have a tea party with your grandchildren. Make it part of their life so that they're not afraid of it. And I'm surprised how often I have people say, oh, yeah, now my 14-year-old granddaughter has said to put it in a hope chest for her. So there is hope. um, let's see here. I also wanted to say really quickly, we are doing more social media stuff now. If you are seeing the our shorts channel, we just did a premiere of one of our regular shorts, but we're doing a lot of like 30-second, 1 minute. Here's 3 items that have something in common. Which do you like? Here's a poll. Tell us what you think about these kind of things. And it's been really interesting. And we're doing it on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok as well as on YouTube Shorts. So that's something to look for if you haven't been following that, because we weren't doing a lot with the Shorts channel. Well, we are now. So, and that's been fun because it's something I can do that's relatively easy. I can do it at home. If I can't get out, it's something that I can maintain. So we're doing more of that, and it's been fun. And it also reaches some different people and brings more people into our community, which is fun. Here we go. Yes, my 16-year-old granddaughter has asked for all my glass because your grandma and so much of collecting is about what grandparents had. And that's also why I think we're seeing some of the younger people being attracted to things that everyone has said for years, oh, no one likes that anymore. Because a lot of younger people spent a lot of time with grandparents or were raised by grandparents. And so the grandparents who were big collectors in the 90s, well, their grandchildren are starting to be in the collecting age, and that's part of their memory. So it changes. Everything ebbs and flows. If you like a certain color, it will be in style, and then it'll be out of style, and then you can get it cheap, and then it'll be in style again. Like we've seen orange come and go, we've seen teal come and go. Purple is a big color right now. We're seeing yellow being popular again. So, just wait long enough and it will come back. Um, that's me. See, exactly. um, let's see. So I'm going to do a quick little bit of viewer mail, and then we'll talk about a few things, and then we'll go on to our sale here. I've had a couple of people sent some things, and I just want to acknowledge it because it was so nice. Anne in New Hampshire sent some things that arrived today. One of them is for me to keep because it's a Studebaker owner service policy, and this would have been for a 1950s Studebaker. Actually, it would have gone with my 1949 Studebaker that I used to have. I missed that car. So that was really a neat thing. She also apparently is a photographer, and took the card she sent has this picture of the old man in the mountain in New Hampshire, that wonderful geologic feature, which unfortunately fell down, I think, about a decade ago and is no longer there. I did not get to see it before it was gone. So that's a lesson to all of us. Go see things while they're here. But she said that she doesn't have collectors for World's Fair, especially this World's Fair, but this World's Fair is really interesting, and I've got one tray. I rarely find things from this, so I want to share this with you real quickly since I'm a World's Fair nut. These are from the Brussels exposition of 1958. It was the first World Fair after World War II. and it was very modernist. Seattle was the first World's Fair after World War II in this country, but this was the first one anywhere in 1958. It drew 56 million people. It was a huge success. This is the atomium, as they called it, this sculpture, which I believe is still there in Brussels, which basically is to look like an atomic molecule. And they talk all about it in here. It's really cool. I think so many of these things are just they're very interesting to me because they really hint at what they thought the future would look like, and that was such a big feature. You see it on a lot of their material, including the Viewmasters, which were made in Portland, Oregon. And oh, Susan says she found a New York World's Fair salt and pepper. I just got one of those for my collection. That's really neat. Let me show you real quickly also from that World's Fair, because it shows some nice views of the fair. These are all records. The Seattle World's Fair did this as well, where they printed records, and you can see the grooves there, and they're basically postcards you would mail, and then they could play something, and it would be sounds of something from the World's Fair. So this, I believe, is the French Pavilion. This one is the USA Pavilion. We did have a big pavilion at the Brussels World's Fair. Brussels, getting that S in there, Brussels sprouts. Here is Congo Boulevard, as they called it. The Congo was just about to no longer be a colony of Belgium at that time. There's the Atomium, as they called it again. And then here's what the rest of Brussels looked like. So this was a big startling thing in a very old city to have this very modern World's Fair. And then this one shows another view. So those were really fun, and I'm glad to get to share them with you. And thank you, Anne, for that. And then Laura in Chicago sent a couple of things as well. This one is kind of neat because this is Home Remedies from 1936. And I'm sure they have all sorts of wonderful ideas of things that you can do, such as, oh, how nice, I turned right to nausea and vomiting, which fortunately I have not been experiencing. And lumbago, and oh dear, yeah, well, maybe I don't want to read this until a few months from now. And then there also was, and we will have in one of our giveaways tonight is a collector's reference book. This one she sent is Country Stoneware and Pottery. And this one is a really cool collector's guide. And this one is signed by the author, which I think is really cool. Having done a collector's reference myself, I love when somebody says, oh, I'm really into this, and would you sign it? And that's fun. And I have not had this one before. And I do have a lot of stoneware collectors, especially in Kentucky and here in the Northwest. So to learn more about it will be great. I do recommend the old reference books because so much good research was done, and it's all in one place, and you don't have to go to 50 websites and read the same thing that's been copied and pasted in by AI over and over and over until you get to the original material. It's just easier, honestly. And then the other one was this one, which is the 1970s Arizona Highways about turquoise, because yes, I do love turquoise, and it's so popular right now. So thank you, Laura. That's a great bunch of stuff for me to look at. And let's see, I see hand pink waving, and so I think this would be a good time actually to take a break and open it up to just general questions and answers anybody has. I've been trying to look at the chat here and there, but it's going so fast that I probably missed some things. So let me know if there's anything that you specifically have a question about right now, and I'll be glad to answer. And I'll try to follow the comments as best as I can. And then we'll talk about a couple other things real quickly and go to our live sale. I have a bookcase full of reference books. That is great. Hi, Annette. Nice to see you. Yeah, the reference books are terrific. They are so useful. I just swear by them. I still think that they're just fantastic. Let's see here. Any questions or stuff? How do I get a little rust off of the Tin World's Fair tray. I would take the very finest steel wool that you can get, try it in an inconspicuous place. But if you get the really, really, really fine, the 4-0, and oddly enough, I've done it with Windex, I have been able to get, you know how chrome, if it gets deeply pitted, it's just deeply pitted. But if it starts to get those little dots on it, I've been able to get those off using fine steel wool. It's great for rubbing furniture polish into a water stain and taking the water stain away without having to refinish a whole piece of furniture. Fine steel wool is great stuff. Just try it in a subtle area so that it isn't really obvious, until you know that it's going to work right and not leave a mark or something that's not what you're looking for there. Let's see here. Okay, do I email? Oh, well, thank you. That's very kind. My address is actually in the description of the video, and it's my Kentucky address, but the mail is all forwarding to here in Washington. If you want the direct address here, I'm happy to give it out, but just send me an email to the Antique Nomad at Gmail. That's going to be the easiest way. Do I buy online? Well, occasionally. I know you've been kind enough to send me auction listings from those nice people in Spokane who I got to film, who you introduced me to, and I have looked at their site and seen a few things I've ended up being outbid. I buy online a little. I buy online, honestly, if I'm trying to build a collection of a certain thing for some reason. Either I have a customer for it or I want to make a presentation. When I wrote the Treasure Craft pottery book, pottery craft book, I did a lot of online shopping because I was looking for particular pieces to illustrate the book. When Nordstrom's was buying swung vases and mid-century glass way before anyone else had caught on to it, I would buy online because back then, it was cheap enough to ship and not as many people were clued into it. So I could buy it from other parts of the country and have it sent to Seattle and sell it to Nordstrom's for top dollar. So in those cases, I do. To be honest with you, if it's for my collection, I do. If I'm looking for something specialized I can't find elsewhere. If it's general resale stuff, I have to be honest, there's so many opportunities for resellers to buy in the marketplace. I may start doing more online now because I may need to if I can't really get out to shop. But I don't do a lot of online buying for resale as a general rule, just because I can do it in person under ordinary circumstances. So let's see here. I meant the fine steel wool. Oh, okay. Oh, the fine steel wool. Okay. Yes, you can get the fine steel wool online. You can also get it at any hardware store. And hello, it's great to see all of you. I see some new folks who've joined the chat. Let me see if there's any other questions real quickly, and then we'll go on to a couple of other things. Okay, I'm not seeing any, so I'm going to go ahead and move on. But if you have other questions, please do drop them in the comments, and we'll try to look again at the very end in case I missed anything. So I wanted to really quickly, one of the things that we've been posting on the social media is we've had a couple of polls, and there were a couple I just thought was, oh, someone had an ashtray question. I'm sorry. Let me see if I can find that. I noticed somebody saying, are people still buying ashtrays? And that is definitely true. If the person who has the question about the ashtrays can put it up again, I'm sorry I missed that. It's hard to scroll back and find sometimes. So put that in if you get a moment, and I'll try to answer. Okay, let's see. I don't see any other questions right now. So I said polls, but really what it is was we've been posting questions and saying, what do you, well, here was one that I thought was really interesting. What is one word to describe your favorite antique and vintage piece? And I said irreplaceable because I don't know if I have a favorite. I have two or three favorites, but they're all either original art or a piece of Cameo glass that was a prototype that's one of a kind, a piece of treasure craft that was a prototype that's one of a kind. So they are irreplaceable because there just aren't anymore. But then I thought it was so interesting the words that people put, and I'll just read some really quickly because it shows so much about the way people think of their collecting and what's important to them. Historic, I got that. Impractical, I love that one. And I followed up with that, and she said, well, what I mean is I don't buy things because they're functional. I buy them because I like to look at them. Sentimental, of course. Um, Happy, and the person who the several said happy, but the first one showed a picture of her grandfather's carved wood horse made from a barn, and it brought her happy memories of grandfather and the way he did his woodworking. So I thought that was really neat. Um, okay, I see your question, Pick and Grin, and we'll come back to that. The let's see, breathtaking, fun, of course. That's happy and fun. That's why we're here, right? I mean, if it's not fun, then why are we doing it? And to me, this is just great fun. I love getting to do something that is fun all the time. Um, Unique. Someone put wow. I thought that was great. If it makes me say wow, yeah, that's something I want. And they had a picture of a blue swung bass that they got that was 40 inches tall. And yeah, that was a wow. Amazing. Mid-century, somebody who is very much into modernism. Priceless, delicate, memorable. And one person who said memorable said real or fantasy. And I thought that was really interesting, or memories, real or fantasy. And I thought, oh, that's interesting because, yeah, I have to admit, I've gotten things sometimes and imagined, what if I could go back in time and wear this, not the hats you see me wear in videos, but like a nice men's fedora, or what if I could go back in time and meet the person who owned this object, you know? So sometimes the memories aren't even our memories of the thing, it's imagining what things were like. It's an imagination thing, and I think that's really fun. Magical, family, and moms and grandmas. Classic, precious, and beautiful. And I thought that's so great. It's such a wide variety of things, that these different emotions that it triggers in people to collect. And it just made me really happy. Therapeutic. Oh, I like that one. Satisfying. Yes, absolutely. Um, yeah, just so many fun things. Now, Pick and Grin, and the question about ashtrays was which ones are selling, and I find that there's a few different kinds. Advertising ashtrays sell particularly certain kinds of things. I sold one from a hotel in Seattle that is no longer there. I sold one from the Northern Pacific Railroad. I sell big leaf-shaped treasure craft ashtrays that could hold 12 cigarettes from back in the 60s when everybody smoked, and you just had those at a party, and all 12 spaces would be occupied, and then you had to tell by which lipstick it was which one was yours when you went to get them. The so there's a lot of different reasons. Sometimes people collect the ashtrays because they match, like Manhattan glass that I collected had an ashtray that went with it, so I had to have that because it was part of the line. So there's a lot of different reasons. Sometimes it's a color, sometimes it's a shape. So I would say a lot of them. I mean, basic utility ashtrays, probably not so much, but anything that looks interesting at all. That's the reason I bought this one that I showed earlier from Portugal, because it's got an interesting scene in it. And I thought, that's something, a lot of the people buying them are using them for other purposes now because fewer people smoke. So they're using them because that shape would work on a desk, or, for whatever purpose. Yes, I love Manhattan glass too. I had a really huge collection of it at one time, and I narrowed it down because I realized that I had a service for 12 in a house that could I lived in an apartment that could seat 6. And so it dawned on me that maybe I didn't need 12 of everything. Um, If a certain item from way back could talk and tell us about what the world was like then, yes, I really see so much of this as a way to interpret the way that things were. Items that make you say, absolutely. Mm-hmm. Love. Yeah. That, oh, yes, that was a great comment. Yeah, love for my nan who gave me her bread pans. When I do appraisal fairs, a lot of times people will bring something very utilitarian. It might only be worth $5 or $10, but it was grandma made the family bread out of this, or the favorite dish or whatever, and it was her hand that held it and wore the paint off, and that's what's important to me about it. And yeah, absolutely. Cigar ashtrays definitely sell. That is true because they're big, and some people who don't smoke cigarettes will have a cigar once in a while. Murano ashtrays are being sold as dishes. Absolutely. Ethyl oil advertising, yes. Ethyl is great. Oh, and it's got the flapper girl. That's a good piece. Ethyl was a material a chemical that they would put in gasoline as an additive to help. It was like even more of a friction, anti-friction than lead. And I think it was lead derived, as I recall. I might be wrong about that part. But anyway, ethyl, for an old car collector, ethyl stuff is really definitely valuable. There's even a club in Seattle called Ethyl Forever, and it's all these guys with these old cars that used to take ethyl gasoline. And so that's a good piece. I'd have to see the banner, but I could imagine if it's large with the flapper girl on it, it might be a couple $100 at least. Um, let's see here. There is Yes, a paintbrush rest. Exactly. Yeah. Ashtrays can be great for that because they'll hold it over the basin. There's something for it to drip into. And if it's glass, you can just wash it out. Um, let's see. Anything? Oh, I have my grandpa's Marilyn Monroe ashtray. That is a good ashtray. That's a hard one to find. Um, so anyhow, just a lot of fun seeing what people are interested in, and I'm really enjoying that. So thank you for those of you who are making those comments. I don't get to read all of them, but I'm trying, and I think that it's a really fun way, whether you're a collector or a reseller, to just see what the motivations of the people who are into this stuff are, because there's as many different reasons people collect as there are people. Let's see here. When is my birthday? It was last month, actually, the 27th of July. Let me see here. Are y'all going to be in Springfield again? I think that's for someone else. I will be there next year. I'm looking forward to that. Okay, well, I think maybe it's a good time to move on to our live sale. And yeah, I'm really enjoying them too. So I think we'll go ahead and move on to the live sale now. And there's a couple things I want to tell you. We are going to do giveaways. I'm going to sell 2 lots. I've been through 6 treatments. I've got 6 to go. So this is a $6 sale. I think we erroneously put 8 in the promotion, but that's fine. So everything is starting at $6. So when I hold something up, if you like it, you're welcome to bid right away. But $6 is the starting bid on everything. We will do 2 lots, and then we'll do a giveaway, 2 more lots and a giveaway, and 2 more lots and a giveaway. So 6 lots starting at $6 each. For the giveaways, if you win the giveaway, you do have to be here in the chat, and please mention in the chat right before the giveaway. We'll give you the secret word. We'll have you put the word in the chat if you're interested in being in the giveaway. Zeno is lurking and will use the chat generator to pick a winner at random. And then that winner needs to tell us in the chat that they're there and that they are able to respond and send us an email to let us know that, yeah, I got the piece, here's my address. For those who win items in the live sale, we'll need to just have you send your PayPal address and your mailing address so that I can get you an invoice. So I think that that's pretty straightforward, and we're going to go ahead and start right now. And I think we'll start off with these guys. It's going to be choice. Every lot will be choice. And our first choice are, starting at $6 each, are these two. These are Gilner elves, and they are little pixies, elves, sprites. They called theirs elves, so I'll use that term for them. And these were done around 1950. And Gilner marked their bigger stuff very clearly, but the little ones, if you don't see the mark, you can tell because they have the leaves on the head. The leaf hat is the tell on Gilner elves. And I see we have a bid in. Thank you, Naomi. And it's going to be choice. So we have the one leaning forward, and then the other one is this one, which is sitting. And again, you see that hat with the leaves on it. And so Gilner was a big company out of California. They and Treasure Craft were competitors, and they also they all sort of took the idea from pixie potters, which started during the Second World War. So it's choice between these, and we're at $9. Is the yellow kind of rare? Well, in Gilner, this chartreuse, it was a big decorating color in the early and mid 50s. It's not, I wouldn't say rare, but they did reds and they did maroons and they did chartreuse. But the dark green, the forest green, is more common than these colors. So these are harder to find, but rare would be like they made very few or just a prototype or two, and they're not that rare, but they're cool. I'm going to put those down and see where we are now. Okay, Carol is at $20 choice. So we're at $20 for choice, and I'm going to let you folks, is the girl in the pink with the accents Gilner? Yes. Yeah, the girl is definitely Gilner with the leaf hat. This one, the face painting is a little different, but it also has the leaf hat. If I do them one at a time, it'll focus better so you can see that. The painting was really kind of up to the decorator, because what they would do, Treasure Craft did the same thing. They would put Mrs. Stewart's bluing or something similar on here so that the colored glaze wouldn't adhere, and then they'd just have a bisque face, and then they would paint the eyes on, which is why you don't want to rub them with Windex or anything, because you'll take the paint off. So we're, and Carol, thank you for becoming a member. That's lovely. So we're at $20 each with Carol, and we're going to wrap this up here. If anyone else is interested, let us know. If Carol doesn't take both, then the backup bidder will have choice. And I'm going to go ahead and put in sold here. And there we go. So Carol, let us know in the chat if you're interested in one or both. If you take both, then that's it for this round. If you take one, then the one that you don't take will be available to the backup bidder. So let us know when you're able to. But yeah, they're really cute. They were elves and happy critters became very popular in the Second World War because it was such a trying time and people wanted to see something that was happy for them. Okay, Carol takes the girl. I believe that Beth is our backup. Beth, if you're interested in this one at your bid, let us know. Otherwise, we'll ask Naomi and then we'll move on. So let me put down Carol Bloom for the one that's leaning. And okay, and Beth will take the other one. That's great. Well, thank you very much. I will make a note of that, and then okay, I'm going to have to not write on this table because it's like we're having an earthquake here. So let me put this to the side. There we go. Okay. Our next round, we have a couple of small things, small but cute, and again, starting at $6 each. And these are novelty pencil sharpeners from the 1930s and 40s. And one is Mickey Mouse, and one is the woman in the long gown who is serving. I'm going to show these individually because it's hard to hold them where they both will focus. Novelty pencil sharpeners were one of those things that really came up in the Depression because they were looking for small items that were fun that didn't cost a lot to sell to people, and also because that was when the marketers were so desperate, they started realizing, hey, if we can get kids to buy stuff, then that's a new market we hadn't thought of before. So she is serving, and she has the big dress, and there's the pencil sharpener in the back. And Sherry's got us started off there. Thank you, Sherry. And then the other one is Mickey Mouse, and the Mickey Mouse one is Bakelite. It's actually, specifically, it's Catalin. It's a nice mottled color. Bakelite and Catalin are... Bakelite was black and brown, and then they let the patent run out, and another company got the formula and reformulated it with colors. So technically, Catalin is the colored stuff, and Bakelite is the brown and black. Everybody just calls it Bakelite, but it is technically a different thing. And of course, Walt Disney was onto something with these, and so they put the stickers with the characters on them, and they're just very cute. How to become a member? I think if you go to below the dash line in the description of any of the videos, it will tell you about memberships and how to do that. And oh, I've got Mickey upside down there. So we are currently $13 for choice with Foxy Von Red. So 13 is our high bid, and if anyone is interested in these, this is a good time to step up. We are going to move fairly quickly through this just because we want to do a giveaway here. So Foxy at $13 is our current high bidder for choice. If anyone else is out there interested in these, now is your chance, because we will, like I say, we will move at a fairly rapid clip, because then we'll have a giveaway and everyone will have a chance at that. Sarah at 15 for choice now. And Sarah and Jason have a surprise that I'm not going to share yet until I talk to them, but we'll talk about that the next time that we meet. Foxy at 17 for choice now. Whoops. There we go. There we go. $17 for choice there. And yes, that Zeno put that up there. Yes, channel members, we will be updating the end credits because we have a bunch of new members. And I also, if I'm tight on time, then I always answer member comments first, and then I try to go back and say hello to everybody. But sometimes it's just impossible. So, Bridget, thank you. It's nice to see you, and I know that we need to get together, so send me an email when you can. Now, Sarah, $20 for choice is the current high bidder. And it's, will the Lennox Swan be available? Unfortunately, the Lennox Swan, I wish I had thought of that. I took the Lennox Swan to an antique store, but if you're interested in it, it is still available. I was just there yesterday. Send me an email at theantiquenomad@gmail.com, and I'll try to have it set aside. Okay, and Foxy says, you take it, Sarah. So Sarah is going to be our first choice at $20 for choice. And Sarah, let us know which one interests you. You're welcome to both, but if you're interested in one more than the other, well, let us know, and we'll put that aside. And if there's one left, we'll offer it to Foxy. So we'll just wait for that for a minute, and we're going to do our first giveaway after this. Yes, I know what she wants. She wants Mickey Mouse, and I knew that. I just thought I would ask. Foxy, if you are interested in the woman serving, let us know in the chat. And in the meanwhile, I'm going to get ready for the first giveaway here. So there we go. We've got Sarah for that. All right. And now, like I say, for the giveaways, we're going to give you all a word. And I'm going to put the word in now so that the spelling is there so that you know what they're looking for. Okay, very good. We'll pass on the lady. Okay, so brooch is the word. So if you're interested in the giveaway, put the word brooch in, because the brooch is this, and this is what we're giving away. And this one, I want to thank Carol Sue Pope, because she made this available to me, and now we get to pass it on to someone out there. So the white brooch is from about 1960, And this is what we will be giving away. It's in good condition and it's pretty well made. I was impressed with the quality of the backing and the weight of the metal. I would say this is mid-60s because it's the darker metal rather than a gold tone. And the darker metals became popular because they had high contrast in that period of time. So we'll give you all a minute. Oh, I've got to text Zeno and make sure that he's aware that we're doing this because he has to pick. We're ready for giveaway. Okay. I think he's following along, but we'll make sure that way. This is about 2 inches wide by 1.5 inches tall, so it's a nice size, and it might be nice to wear on a scarf or a coat. I could see this on a coat because coats are usually really dark, and so this would be something that would be nice contrast. So if everybody has put in the word brooch, I think we're going to go ahead and make a choice. And yes, that's why I put the word in. I'll put the spelling in for everything. Just brooch is one of those words that a lot of people spell O-A-C-H, but it actually is double O's. And Betty R is with us. So here we go. And we will put this aside and wait to see who our winner is. It's nice that it's prong set too. I like prong set because you know that on a hot day you're not going to lose stones. And Nightbot has picked Debbie Gutierrez as the winner. Well, that's wonderful. So Debbie, let us know in the chat now. Just acknowledge that you're aware that you're the winner, and then you'll need to send me your information for mailing. Gutierrez. So we will just, and congratulations, Debbie, and we'll just wait for Debbie to put in the chat that she is the winner and is still with us and will be able to send us her information. And then we'll go on to our next round of sales. And, oh yeah, we've got some fun things coming up. I'm just going to give Debbie Gutierrez a moment to let us know that she's out there. Yay, okay, very good. Yay, thanks. Yes, you're very welcome. All right, our next round here, and again, I have to thank Connie Jean in this case, who I think is still with us in the chat, because she provided one of these items, and I thought it was quite beautiful, and I believe she thrifted it, and it needed just a little bit of touch-up, and I did do that. So these are going to, again, start at $6 each, and I'm snickering because of this comment here. So it's going to be a choice of 2 pictures. One of them is this nice large silhouette. This is the one that Connie found for us. It's really very pretty. It's got milkweed in the background. It has a, the frame was a little bit worn, and this is one thing that in my opinion is legit. It was painted black. It's easy to repaint black. So you're not changing the authenticity of the piece. So I went ahead and darkened it. So thank you, Connie Jean, very much for supplying this. So $6 is the opening bid, and it's the choice between this lovely large silhouette, which I should measure for you. It's really quite large. It's actually 14 inches by 10. So it's on the big side. An elderly poodle is starting us off with 20. And then the other choice is this, which came from the estate in Olympia, and I thought this was very cute. This is from about it's actually dated, I think, 1916, and this is the little boy. It's almost 1 o'clock in the morning, and he's on the candlestick phone. Now, what he's doing up at 1 in the morning, I don't know, but he's on the candlestick phone saying, "It's time to come home, Papa," and I'm pretty sure he was put up to it by the mom who wants Dad to come home. So it's going to be choice of either of these, and we have a bid of $20, now 22 with Naomi, and this is for choice. So there are the 2 choices. The smaller one is, let me see what the measurement of the smaller one is. It is, oh, here's my measuring tape. It's going to measure in the realm of 10 inches by 4. So it's a smaller piece, but it's a really sweet piece and very much in the arts and crafts tradition with the original frame. And what's Papa doing out late without his wife? Well, Yeah, exactly. I think that's what she'd like to know, so she put the kid up to it. So now we are with $30 with Elderly Poodle for choice on this. Yeah, I thought these were both really sweet. I always liked the milkweed. They would actually go out and gather milkweed when it was in bloom so that they could use it as the backgrounds for those things. And of course, milkweed, very important for our butterfly population now. In fact, um, in Kentucky, Zeno successfully petitioned the city, which called it a noxious weed and wanted it removed, and said, no, we need it for the butterflies. And he went and stood up for them, and they said, okay, you're right. So I thought that was great. Um, I think it is advertising, maybe. That is possible. So, Sylvia, I see you're bid at 28, but Elderly Poodle is in the first position at $30 for choice. So let us know, because we will wrap this up and move on. We've got a couple of other fun lots to show you tonight. So currently at $30 for choice. Let us know, Sylvia, if you're still in. And, oh, I'm sorry. Did we have somebody else? I see Ramola saying we had someone else. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Sorry, let me get this right. Naomi bid 31st. So Elderly Poodle and Sylvia, let us know if you're still in. $30 is the high bid with Naomi. Thank you for catching that, Ramola. I don't ever want to undersell somebody. Now 32 with Elderly Poodle, and I'll try to make sure that I am able to pay attention to the bids. It's hard to see through these things. So, see one-eyed George back here. Sylvia is out, so Naomi let us know, and otherwise we'll close this off. Elderly Poodle at $32 for choice is our current high bidder. So Naomi, let us know if you're in, and if not, we'll close this out and then see. It might be that you both get what you want. It just depends on who's after what. So, okay, Naomi says she's out. So we're going to sell this. Elderly Poodle will have first choice. And then if she doesn't take both, then we will see if Naomi wants what's left. So, Ms. Van Poodle, if you'll please tell us which one you want. I think I know because you started bidding before I even showed the second one. But milkweed for 32. Yes, I thought so. Okay, very good. Naomi, if you are interested in the other piece, let us know. Otherwise, we will move on to our next round. I'm going to set these down and you can let us know in the comments. All right, and I'll make a note of this really quickly. And we have Elderly. There we are. And oh, Reggie, thank you so much for the super chat. That is very kind. I really appreciate it. We are definitely, we have lots of plans to keep doing fun things and keep doing more things on the channel, and that definitely helps. So, and Naomi would like the other piece, so that's great. That worked out very nicely. I thought they were both really fun in different ways. So we've got those done, and let's go on to our next round here. Now these are, I thought we needed a modernist round tonight. I tried to bring some different varieties. So this is going to be choice. And again, we're starting at $6 each. And thank you. I'm glad that you're happy it found a good home too. I thought it was just beautiful when you sent it. It was very kind of you. So this is our mid-century choice. And you've got whimsy or you have style and whimsy. I think they're both really cool. So $6 each for choice on these is our opening bid. And we have the choice between the classic McCoy smiley face mug. And this one's in good shape. It doesn't have big coffee stains in it. It does have something in it. I seem to have gotten a leaf in there. Okay, that's gone. But nice color, and it does have the McCoy logo, but it's really, really, this is when they were doing the Art Deco rings around the McCoy, and it's really, really, really densely glazed, as McCoy often was. So you really can't read it, but it is a McCoy, and we're at $15 now with the net for choice. And then the other choice is the Blanco Apple in this lovely cobalt color. Cobalt was so popular in the 1980s and 90s. And this was designed by Matthew Carter, who was Blenko's designer in the 1980s and 90s. And so it is kind of a quintessential piece. Glass fruit was really popular in that time, and I'm noticing people collecting it again. Let's see, I believe we have Les at $20 now. Deb's Finds at $22 is our high bidder for choice. So $22 now, $25 with Funny Girl in Stumptown. And she's promising to set up near me at Rose City Vintage next year, and she says she will bring the comic relief, and I'm looking forward to it. Okay, now Sarah at 28 for choice. And Les is out. Deb's Finds at 30, so Sarah let us know. And we're at $30 choice now. And yeah, are they? I will have to dig mine out and sell it. Yeah, they actually are. Yeah. And I feel like cobalt is a color that's starting to come back to interest too, because it's just so rich, and I'm seeing jewel tones starting to attract attention. So yes, I think you will meet Funny Girl next year. So let us know if we are. Let's see, we were at 30 with Deb's Finds for choice. Sarah is out, so we're going to sell choice to Deb's Finds. Let us know if you would, if you are. I'll put sold Deb's Finds. And if you'll let us know if you are interested in the Blenko piece or the McCoy. Carol Sue says cobalt is selling everywhere, and I do think that's true. And so many nice pieces were made in the 30s and then again in the 80s. So you've got two eras of collecting there. I'm going to take a quick sip while I... The apple. Okay, very good. And Sarah, you can let us know in the comments if you're interested in the smiley face. I'm going to go ahead and set the apple down here and make a note really quickly. And there we go. Okay. Let me put this over here too. I have a better setup now. A friend of mine, actually, my friend Sheila, moved back from here to California, and she is the sister of Stephanie, my caretaker, and they had this wonderful barrister's bookcase that had been in the family, and she said that she didn't need it anymore, and would I like to have it to use here. And I've bought and sold barrister's bookcases for years and always thought they are so neat. It's you can't tell because the doors are open, but you pull down and it's the glass front. And I've always wanted one and never kept one, and so it's really nice to have one. It's much nicer than the ironing board as a backdrop. Not a smiley type person. Well, you are sometimes. So, okay, let's see. We have another giveaway coming up here, and the magic word for this is, whoops, I better spell it right if I'm going to have all you do the same, is Cameo. Because we are going to sell a Cameo. It's not a shell Cameo. I'm sorry, we're not going to sell. We're going to give away a Cameo. It's not a shell Cameo. It's a different kind, but okay. Doing next one. There we go. We'll let Zeno know to tell Nightbot to pick somebody. Let me show you what this giveaway is. This is approximately just about 2 inches, and it's glass with a, I believe this is a clay, like a sulfide on the top, actually. It's not plastic, and I think it's really well done. I'm trying to get it to where it'll focus on the face, but I thought the detail was good in this, and I like the surround. And when you look at the back, it's an older style clasp. It's sort of an early version of a safety catch, probably from about 1940. So this is going to be our next giveaway. So put the word Cameo in the comments now, if you would. And then we will have Nightbot make a choice here as soon as we see everybody in who is interested in the Cameo. Again, nice high contrast. I tried to put, I figured that this might also be a good thing for a coat. or maybe even to wear at the holidays. So we'll give everyone a chance to put in the word Cameo, and then we will give this one away. I'm so glad to be able to do some giveaways because you all have been so generous with us and the channel and with me with my situation. And so it just feels really good to be able to give back a little bit. Let's see here. Okay, I see a few more cameos in. And then I think Nightbot's going to do its thing and pick someone at random. And then we'll make sure that that person acknowledges again in the comments that we are going to make sure we get their information and send it to them. I was studying clasps of different ages yesterday, trying to identify a filigree flower brooch. Ages count. With filigree, it can be a little tricky though, because a lot of filigree was made in Peru and made in Thailand. And Peruvian filigree can go way back in time. It also can be from the 1970s, and they didn't really change the clasp much. So that one may take a little bit more digging. Sometimes you have to kind of look at the level of tarnish and the level of detail and preciseness and judge it that way as well. Okay, Stacy S is the winner of the giveaway. So Stacy S, if you will let us know in the chat that you see yourself as the winner here, and then we'll look forward to getting your information. And I'm going to make a note of it here that you are the winner, and we just need you to send us your mailing information so we can get that out to you. Ah, very good. I'm glad you saw that. Well, that's great. Let's see here. Okay, we've got 2 more lots to sell. And this next one, these are very little objects, so I'll show them together really quickly. Again, they're starting at $6 each, so you can bid at any point if you want. But these are micro mosaic, and we have 2 different ones here, and they are from different eras as well. So I'll show these and talk about them just a little bit. But $6 each is the opening bid on these. We will show you the pillbox first. These pillboxes, micro mosaic is made in Italy, and these are all little pieces of glass. And people would work with glue and tweezers, basically, and glue them in and set them in on edge to form floral designs and all sorts of stuff. It was very painstaking, and they were paid by the piece. It was piecework, so they had to work really fast to make any money to do this, and there's obviously a lot of work to it. So it's a pretty neat thing, I think, and we've got some bidding going on. I'll just put in the current high bid is Annette at $26. This pillbox should date to probably the 1950s, maybe 1960. So this one is an early post-war in the gold. All the stones are there, which is important. The other one here, and Elena is our high bidder now at $30. The other one is this miniature frame, and it has a picture of a boy in it. And the frame is very nicely detailed, and you can tell by the picture that this is likely to be 1930s. This appears to be pre-war. It has a little easel on the back, and it's darker. And it also has the name, and I think it says Gary on the back. So they actually wrote the name. Oh no, Carl. There we go. Yeah, Carl is the name of the boy in the picture, and I thought that was kind of neat. So it's going to be choice on these. Elena at $40 is the current high bidder for choice. The little picture frame came out of the estate in Olympia with the old dealer estate. And the yellow piece I think I got in Florida, actually. It's been sitting in a jewelry box, and I saw it and thought, oh, that's something that we should put out. So yeah, the frame is really neat. You don't really see the miniature frames very often. You do see the jewelry and the pillboxes and stuff a little more frequently. Sylvia at 42 is the current high bidder for choice. Yeah, I just thought they were both very happy colors, and I like that they had a lot of detail. Some of these were done a little more loosely or not as well. I really look for a lot of crispness, tightness in the design, no holes. That's important. Holes can mean that it was just not done well, or it can mean that something has fallen out. So I always look for that. Sylvia, you said, oh, Elena at $50. Okay, I think Elena is going to be our winner here. I'm going to mark sold. And Elena, if you'll let us know in the chat if you want one or the other or both, and we will make one or both available to you. And then Sylvia, you can be our backup if you want the other piece if she only takes one. So I'm going to set those down and we'll give her a moment to mull that over. And there we go. Elena bought a very pretty Russian box from us. I thought that was a beautiful piece. So, Miss Wildlife is here. Well, that's great because you're going to see something that came courtesy of you. Looks like Carol is the high bid. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm saying I missed that. Yes, I apologize. Carol is the high bidder. I apologize. Carol is 51. I did not catch that. Thank you for keeping me honest here. And yes, you're right. Carol is the high bidder. She got in just before the sold. And we do, of course, always honor the high bid when we put sold in. So Carol let us know. And thank you, Elena, for catching that as well. So Carol let us know you have choice of the frame or of the pillbox. And Elena will be the backup bidder. And yes, so I'm sorry about that, Carol, but let us know which one is for you, and we'll take it from there. And thank you all for helping me out there. Carol would like the frame. Okay, Elena, if you're interested in the pillbox, do let us know. And Carol, I will put you down for the frame. And glad we got that right. Okay. All right. Oh, Anne, it's wonderful to see you. You missed earlier. I showed some of the things that you sent from the Brussels World's Fair, and thank you so much for those. They just arrived today, actually, and they're wonderful and very interesting. I had not seen as much of the Brussels Fair as some of the other ones because not so many Americans got there, so it was neat to see that collection. And I understand, yes, you wanted the frame too. That's just fine. The pillbox we'll save for another time. Okay, so we're on our last round. Again, $6 each is opening bid. And these are two very pretty things. And they're going to be a little bit fun. Excuse me. A little bit fun to show. So I'm going to start with this one. This one, again, came from one of our viewers. And I thought it was so pretty I wanted to pass it on to another one of our viewers. This is Noritake. And this was a nice piece with the gold mark, which I believe that this mark came about just after the Second World War, if I'm not mistaken. There's been some controversy over that, but I believe that's an early post-war mark. Love the lavender color. I think it's just really, really beautiful. This came from Miss Wildlife, and thank you very much. A few of you shared some really wonderful things, and it's just nice to be able to pass them on to people who will love them. Very pretty with all the floral spray. So it is the choice between the Noritake or another thing that is flowers is this set, which if you saw the shorts, you saw that I got this actually right here where I'm staying. And this set is, again, $6 opening bid on either of these pieces for choice. This set is all Charlton decorated. And it is Westmoreland glass. They did decorations on Fenton and with Westmoreland and Cambridge glass. It wasn't just Fenton. And so you see the bow knot and rose pattern. All of the pieces have the label here. Currently, we have Sylvia Lee in first position for choice at $35 for choice. So all of these have the Westmoreland foil label, which is kind of unusual. Usually they just had the stamp on the pieces and then one would have gotten the foil label, but this is 1950s. And at that point, not all the molds had the Westmoreland mark. So all four pieces actually have the Westmoreland mark. So it is the choice between, and just in the interest of being not clumsy and not breaking things, the choice is between the Westmoreland set and the Noritake folded bowl. Which is about 9 inches at its longest point. And then the dresser set, the little bottles are about 4 inches square, and the oval tray is about 10 inches. Sylvia at 60, now Foxy at 75 for choice. So I'm glad you appreciate these the way that I did. I just thought they were really lovely. And, things with flowers. I was reading something about we're going to have our level 3 member chat on Wednesday, and I was reading about art, and one of the things they said is flowers never go out of style. And I thought that was really an interesting way of looking at things, and it's true. Certain natural things are always popular because, we live in nature, and I think nowadays especially. Sylvia at 80, now Foxy 95 for choice. And so Sylvia let us know. Sylvia is out, so we're going to sell this choice to Foxy. And Foxy, if you'll let us know in the chat if you are interested in the Westmoreland set or the Noritake Bowl or both pieces, we'll make them available. And then we'll have our last giveaway. You want the set? Okay, very good. And Sylvia, if you're interested in the Noritake, let us know. And also, Sylvia, I do have that tray set aside for you when you're ready for that. Let me know too. So I will put Foxy down for this, and then we will go to our last giveaway. And I'm going to set this aside. Yes, Westmoreland also never goes out of style. That is true. Yeah, they were in business until 1982, and I think if they had survived just a few more years, they would still be in business. But that was a really bad recession, and they were not able to survive. Your vanity is getting full. Yes, I know you bought some really pretty things. Okay, well, we're going to have our. You wanted the set too. I understand. Okay. Well, we're going to do our last giveaway, and our last giveaway is something I've been talking a lot about. Because I think they're really still very helpful and useful. And that is, I'm going to give away this copy of Roseville in all its splendor, and with the price guide. Now, I'm going to hit enter here because Roseville is the word. If you will put Roseville in the chat, then you'll be eligible for the drawing. Roseville made so many wonderful things over about a 60-year period, and a lot of the thing that I think is so interesting about reference books, they show how it was made. They show people actually doing the work. They show a little bit of history about the thing, but then they have all these wonderful pictures. So if you like, and they do theirs actually by, they show a bunch of the original ads, but if you like the stuff, they go in this book, they actually do it by the name of the pattern. So that's a 1940s pattern there, but then you'll see moved in. Here's the stuff that they made back in the 19 teens and 20s that looked like Majolica. Here's Roseville's Donatello line. So you can tell these pieces separately from Weller. And what's great is they have all these catalog pages. So it's super thorough. It actually shows everything. It talks about, here's the Forest line, which is a very rare line. And it talks about the designers and who made them. And so if you're collecting any of it, or you stumble across them if you're a reseller, it's great for identification. Now, the price guide for this one, in my opinion, actually is probably about right for today, because this was written sometime in the mid-90s, right when Roseville was starting to really go up in price, and then it really soared and kind of went almost out of control. New collectors couldn't afford it, and so then it fell back to the prices we see now, but it's still very collectible. And a lot of people are asking questions of me, how do I tell new from old? This sort of thing will really help you. So I wanted to give a reference book away because it's a good topic, but also because I just think reference books still have validity for the information, even if the pricing is not the same. We can look up prices. That's easy. You can go to completed sales and figure out prices. Okay, if anyone else wants to be in for this drawing, put your name in, and we will have the Nightbot will tell us who the winner is pretty quickly here. And while you're doing that, if you and Rhonda Goss, your auto spell put in something very funny, but it's not going to work. So we got to try that one again. There you go. Um, if you if you have any other questions too, this is a great time to put questions in the comments, because I'll take a few minutes to answer anything that anybody has, and then we'll wrap up for the evening here. So we've got Roseville. Okay, I think Nightbot will do its magic here any moment. But while we wait for that, yes, if anybody is wondering about anything, or if there's anything we touched on that we didn't amplify, or just something that you've always wanted to know, I might know the answer. We'll find out. Aha, okay. Chafina has won the giveaway. Oh, that's great. So if you will let us know in the comments that you see that you are the winner, because we'll need you to send your information to us. And I have circled, and then we will send that out to you. And who knows, it might become your new favorite collection. Did they say how long it will take your lungs to heal? Well, fortunately, the perforation was really minor. And so as long as I'm careful, don't lift weight, don't do anything to exacerbate it, they said probably 7 to 10 days, and it will be not an issue at all. Oh, good. You got, yay, that's great. I'm excited for you. I'm glad that you see that you got that. Another question, do we have a topic for Wednesday night? That's for the level 3 members chat. We do actually. We have a couple. One is jewelry. I know you'll like that. The other, we're going to talk about art a little bit, because when we do the level 3 chats for the members who are level 3, I love it when the members suggest topics they're interested in, and somebody said, we'd really like to know more about how you look for art and what you look for when you're out shopping. So we'll talk about that too. June Allison appeared on Bob Hope's radio show called Command Performance. Ah, there we go. Now that makes sense with that locket. Yes, deep breathing exercises, exactly. Yes, deep breathing, but not heavy breathing. They said don't go running or doing heavy exercise. So art, yes, exactly. Yeah, I think you two may have been the ones, and we have someone who's in our group who's actually going to help me with that a little bit, who is an artist and will be able to help us shed a little bit more light on things. So I am looking forward to that. We're also working on trying to figure out how to have guests come on, because our friends Willie Joe suggested a guest who would be very interesting to speak with. I've got to practice that a little bit. The one nice thing about having this downtime is we can work on some things like that when I'm busy with a million things have been hard to figure out. But now that I'm having to sit in one place, I'm finding out, well, Zeno is finding out that I'm trainable. We'll put it that way. I've been interested in Elton Bennett. Yes, I just got a couple of Bennett prints. I always like them too. Thank you so much. I really enjoy the lives. How to find listed artists. We will talk about that a little bit. I'll make sure I make a point of adding that to the list. For those of you who aren't members, if that does interest you, there is a monthly fee, but you can go to the main channel and check that out underneath the dash line in the description of any video. And you can click a link that'll tell you about it if that seems like something of interest. So, oh, you're working at Goodwill. Yes, you will help Goodwill make more money for their causes by knowing what things are. Absolutely. And you can still price it at a price that someone can afford, because it came in for free. But, if it's a $20 piece, why not get $10 instead of $2? So, I mean, it's still a bargain for a reseller, and you're helping the people whose cause they're trying to help. So that's great. And I feel the same way. I really appreciate all of you. It's so nice to get together with you like this, and I'm looking forward to doing it again next month. So in the meantime, thank you all for being with us, and we will, I just want to really quickly, cheaper than a Starbucks, that is true. I just want to quickly make sure I didn't miss anybody's questions. I think we got them all. So I guess with that, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up, and we'll see you on Wednesday with another video at 8 p.m. Eastern on the main channel. And I'm going to go ahead and hit the outro credits here. And like I said, for those who've taken a membership on the live channel, we will be updating this to get everybody in soon.